The way that you do anything is the way that you will do everything. If you make it a constant habit to cut corners, overthink, and let fear win, it absolutely will. And this is exactly how you approach life in every single aspect. It does not matter. But it doesn't have to be this way. A lot of us have this belief that life is just supposed to be super hard. But it doesn't need to be hard to the point where you struggle to even get up out of bed and make your own bed and brush your teeth. Like, your everyday life does not need to look like this, because most of the physical, pretty much everything in the physical starts in here. It starts within the mental realm. Our brain holds so many different secrets and so many different keys to really unlock your potential. And with that being said, hi. If you're new to my channel, my name's Izzy, and this channel name is Creality because I truly and fundamentally believe that we all have the capability to change our own reality through new ways of thinking, through connecting with the divine, reprogramming our subconscious mind. Like, there's so many different aspects that go into it, and that is why I created this channel, because I know that life can be hard sometimes. But I want to let you know that your life doesn't need to look like a depressive episode every single day, and you do not need to go through life wishing things were different, because you can make things different. It's about making the conscious decision to want to make a change. You have to first identify that you want things to change, because if you don't, they won't. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. As babies, our subconscious mind is wide open. From the ages of 0 to 7, our brain is in a theta state. We take in beliefs and views of the world that we do not reject. We do not question what is coming into our minds, because we do not really have that filter developed yet of, oh, actually that's not my truth, so I'm not going to accept that. And with that being said, since our brain is so open, anything that goes around us is being put into our subconscious mind. These are the seeds that are being planted that are one day going to blossom into adult you, into older version of you, whether that is a positive or a negative thing. If you grew up in a very toxic home, you probably are going to have a lot of limiting beliefs when it comes to not only your worth, but how you view relationships, how you view family dynamics, how you view your success levels. It can be extrapolated into any different area of life, but if you grew up with something that was very negative, most likely there are certain beliefs and certain behaviors that you have implanted within your subconscious mind that cause you to act the way that you do today. If you grew up seeing your parents arguing all the time, if you grew up seeing your mother struggle to find a boyfriend and seeing her being in abusive relationships, you are probably going to have a very negative outlook when it comes to love and relationships. You're going to believe that a partner is never going to stay forever. Love isn't real. I'm not deserving because I saw that my mother was never able to keep someone who treated her right. You're putting this belief onto your life of, that's just how all men are. Like, I'm going to constantly be abused by men. And I know that sounds super heavy and extreme, but it's so true. If you grew up seeing these things, it is so planted deep within your subconscious mind. You may consciously say, oh, I don't accept that. I'm never going to want a man like that. But somewhere within your subconscious mind, there's this belief that men are like that and men are going to treat you bad. If you grew up hearing that money is hard and you saw your family struggle a lot, you are subconsciously going to carry the belief that money is hard to make, and maybe that you're not even deserving because your family didn't grow up with money. That is something that I had to fix within my own life, because I did not grow up with having money. I am very fortunate that my mom created a very successful coaching business as I got older, but growing up, I had to see my mom struggle a lot to pay bills, to buy us food. So somewhere in my mind was planted that money is hard to make and money comes and goes. And this is something that I was able to identify in my life, because I started seeing these patterns repeat in my own life when it came to my bank account. I'd have money, it'd be gone. I'd have money, it'd be gone. And I constantly was in this repeating cycle of money. And I knew that there was something within me that I believed that was causing my money to fluctuate like that. And the belief was that money comes and goes. So as soon as I was able to identify this, that money does not have to come and go. When I started putting my attention and my focus on what it would feel like to have a lot of money in my bank account, I started noticing more money come in and not leave as quickly. And by no means am I saying like I'm rich or I'm wealthy. I'm definitely not exactly where I want to be, but it's no longer a matter of if it's going to happen, but it's when it's going to happen. But I had to identify what that belief was and what was causing my money to go in and out like that. Know that you are worthy of a man or a woman who is going to treat you amazingly no matter what your family went through. We have generational repeating patterns, and something within my family is divorce. I have a family full of women because every single woman in my family has been divorced and not had a successful marriage. So I had the belief that marriages aren't supposed to last. No one's going to be married. And I literally consciously say to myself, I am going to be in the most happy, loving, and fulfilling marriage ever, and I'm not going to get divorced. And I know you could say, oh, well, that's just being wishful and hopeful, but be wishful and hopeful, because if you identify the repeating patterns that have happened in your generational cycle, you can be the first to break them. If there's a generational repeating cycle of abuse, be the first to break that. If there's a generational repeating cycle of poverty, be the one to break that. You have to make the conscious decision that you no longer are going to accept that. You're going to heal that part of your family lineage, and you are going to be the first to change it. Your mind has been programmed in a certain way, but there are things that you can do to help reprogram your mind. It all starts with being able to identify what it is that's holding you back. Why do you feel that you are not worthy of love and relationships? Why do you feel you can't be successful? Why do you feel you can't have money? Why do you feel you're not going to meet your purpose? Identify what is holding you back from living the life that you truly want. That is the first step to making a change. I'm going to attach a few different exercises and things within this video that you can do to, I believe, that would help you, because these things and these activities and exercises that I've done have really helped me. So I want to also give them to you, because I'm more than just like a YouTuber who's just going to talk and stuff. I eventually want to turn this into something much bigger. And I know that what you hear from me can only take you so far. It just comes down to what you do and the actions that you take. And, certain resources that I'm going to attach could help you further, could push you further from just watching me talk here. Almost every single action and habit we have is habitual. It comes from how our mind was programmed from growing up. So if you know that you grew up in very hard circumstances, you have to take those extra steps to unlearn those certain behaviors. For me, a habit that I picked up growing up is you have to get very upset when you are arguing. And I caught myself doing this the other day. I got very upset when I was arguing, and I kind of was like, hold on, wait. This is not who I am. This is something that I picked up. I'm making the conscious decision now to no longer let myself get so fully upset and emotional when I argue. That is something that I learned and I watched growing up, seeing people argue and getting very emotional over it, and I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. When you are able to identify the things that you don't like from when you grew up, you're able to make a change. Life is not supposed to be objectively hard. Life, of course, is a spiritual journey, and there are going to be ups and downs, but the difficult things that you face are ultimately shaping you and molding you into the person that you are truly meant to be. I fundamentally believe that when we are in the spiritual realm and before we come down to earth, our soul decided this life. Our soul picked our parents, our soul picked the story of our life, and we have free will in this life, so we get to choose whether or not we are going to fulfill this purpose, but we knew before we even came into this life the difficult things that we were going to experience. We agreed to have this life. I know that right now, life can be super hard. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot more evil. There's a lot more negativity. But you don't have to live your life like that. You do not have to live a depressed life every single day. Suicide is never an option, and it's so sad that it's such a prominent thing, because if more people were to understand that they could change the way they think and they can change the way they view their circumstances, that things would get a whole lot better. And when you are going through something super hard, it's not going to be your forever. You are not going to feel depressed and crappy the rest of your life unless you let yourself feel crappy and depressed for the rest of your life. You get to make a decision. You get to make the choice that you want to change your perception and how you view the world. Ultimately, we can't control everything. Sometimes things are going to be sent our way, but it's all about the perception that you have on it. You can either view the hardships and the struggles that you have been through as something to dwell on and constantly feel sad about, or you can view these things that you have been through as your fuel, as your driving why, of why you want to help people change, of why you want to do X, Y, and Z. It's all about your perception, and you get to choose it. So if you have the perception of, I'm not good enough, because you grew up people telling you over and over you're not good enough, or you saw your parents fail a lot, or you saw your family fail a lot and struggle a lot, you may have the belief of, I'm not good enough, so you will always find a reason to go back to the fact that you are not good enough. You didn't get that job you wanted, oh, it's because I'm not good enough. You're going to constantly jump back to the fact that you believe you are not good enough, even if that is not true, because you are good enough. You are made in God's image. Your spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. Of course, There's things that you could do to make yourself better, but your spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. It does not matter what you went through in this life. Never let your limiting views or beliefs make you feel belittled and that you do not matter, because God has specifically and intentionally crafted and designed you. There never has been and there never will be an exact life force of you. So take pride in that, because there's never going to be anyone who is exactly you. You have your own individual purpose. You have your own individual mission. There are things that you have to complete on this earth, and never feel so small and insignificant that that's not the truth, because it is absolutely the truth. And if you go into life with the mindset of you're just this little floating molecule, just like floating between the stars, and you're just a little piece of dust, like nothing's going to matter. But you're not a little piece of dust. You are a spiritual creature, literally. We are spiritual beings having human experiences. What you focus on expands. So if you believe that life is hard, you will always find a reason to go back to that belief of, yeah, well, life's just hard. And this could be extrapolated into any different category. It does not matter. Any belief that you have that is ultimately limiting and negative, change that to something positive, because as humans, we love to be right. You know, we really do like to be right. It gives us this, this feeling of, oh yeah, see, I was right. Because if you ever reach for the stars and you don't make it, and you have this limiting belief of, I'm not able to achieve it, you're gonna miss the goal that you wanted to be like, oh, well, you know what? I get to confirm the belief now that I knew I wasn't able to do it. I get to confirm the belief that life is hard. Switch this to life is not freaking hard. It does not, well, okay, hold on. Life is hard. Life, you're going to have challenges in life, but life does not need to be as hard as you make it, because you get to decide how you view the world, ultimately. How many times have you had the perfect job lined up and you believed, I'm just not good enough, so I'm not even going to go to the interview. I don't believe I'm good enough to apply to that school, so I'm just not going to apply. I don't believe I'm good enough to share my opinion, so I'm not even going to start. Literally the same reaction to all of those, because how many times are you going to keep sabotaging yourself before you realize that the only person that is holding you back is yourself? It doesn't matter what anyone says about you. It doesn't matter your parents' past, their beliefs. It does not matter. It all comes down to you. You say you want love, but you push people away. You say you want to be successful, yet you procrastinate everything. You say you want to be fit, but you eat McDonald's every single day. What areas of your life are you self-sabotaging? And it makes you wonder, okay, why is my brain doing that? And our brain loves to be comfortable and feel safe. You have to get used to that discomfort of picking change, of becoming a new version of yourself. And it may feel uncomfortable because this is not what your brain's used to. You've never been this version of yourself. So it's going to feel uncomfortable. That is a good thing, though. If you ever are stepping into your higher self, if you're ever making differences in your everyday habits and you feel a little bit uncomfortable, fully embrace that discomfort, because that is a good thing, because you have never been this version of yourself. Our brain loves comfort. So I have 3 things that you can do to help you with the self-sabotage. And the first thing is to just identify what areas of your life are you self-sabotaging yourself in. Is it your fitness journey? Is it your career? Is it your love life? Is it your friendships, your family relationships? Like, identify what you are doing to self-sabotage yourself. That is the first part, because you know what it is. You know what you are doing that is ultimately holding you back. And the second part is to identify what beliefs that you have that are causing you to self-sabotage yourself. Is it the fear and belief that you are not good enough and that you will fail, or that you are not loved? Identify what those things are, because once you are able to bring these things into light, it has so much less power, because you now are able to look at it from afar and be like, you know what? I know that I have this belief, but I'm no longer accepting this as my truth, and I'm deciding to change. And the third part is that you need to rewrite your story. Start taking the little action steps that could help you get rid of these limiting beliefs about yourself. You have to want to make the change, and you have to take the action steps to make that change. If your mind isn't 100% on your side, you will always view life to be hard. The person that you are going to be around the most, 24/7, 24 hours on the clock, is yourself. Your brain is constantly throwing thoughts at you. We think 12 to 16,000 thoughts a day, and if every single thought that is coming your way is negative, no wonder that you are experiencing a negative reality. Switch these thoughts to something positive and make yourself be the person that you want to constantly be around, because you are the person that you will constantly be around. We exist on 3 planes of existence: the spiritual, mental, and physical plane. So it is of our essence to take physical action. If you want to achieve great things in this life, you have to put your best foot forward. You have to put your all into it. You have to put your heart into it and take the physical action that is required. The thing with manifesting and stuff like that, and I think a lot of people teach as incorrect, is you can just sit, pray, and hope all day and it'll just magically plop into your lap. But that's just not the truth. There's no such thing as something for nothing. You have to take that first step. God wants to give you blessings and opportunities and miracles, but it's about you meeting the divine halfway, about you taking that first step and actually putting in that physical action. You will not achieve anything in this life by being lazy. Let yourself feel the excitement and the joy of already having what it is that you want to create for yourself. Imagine yourself being fully stepped into your purpose. Imagine yourself completing this mission that you have in this life, because that is what will drive you even on the days where it feels hard to make your bed. Imagine the people that you'll constantly be surrounding yourself with, and the circumstances and the things that you can provide for yourself and your family. This is what is going to drive you. You have to be able to identify what is going to drive you, because if you don't, then nothing will drive you. You'll wake up one morning and be like, oh, I just really don't want to feel like it, and you won't get anything done that you need to do. Identify what is going to drive you on the days where you literally do not even want to get up out of bed and all you want to do is just bed rot all day. On days that, I'm kind of having a hard time, or maybe it's just a sad day for me, I literally just imagine myself being fully stepped into my purpose and having everything that I want to create already. And it literally snaps me out of that state and into a drive state, into a state where I'm going to get things done because I know what I want to create for my life, and it doesn't matter how you feel in the moment. You have to stick to the plan. Obviously, if you're going through something super difficult, it's important to let yourself feel that pain and let yourself feel the grief of whatever you're going through, but don't let yourself sit in that for days and days and days and weeks and months and years on end. It's got to come to a point where you kind of, I'm sure you guys have seen the saying where it's like, F your feelings, stick to the plan. But seriously, it gets to a point where it's kind of like, F your feelings and stick to the plan. You got to do what you have to do to achieve the things that you want. If it were easy, everyone would live the life that they truly desire. If it were easy, it would mean absolutely nothing to you or everyone around you. You have to put that hard work in. You and me have no idea what God is so excited to share with us once we begin and once we take that first step. Put your best foot forward in absolutely everything you do, because as I said in the beginning of the video, the way you do one thing is the way that you will do everything. So if you make it a conscious habit to put your best foot forward in everything that you do, you will see how easy it is to start being able to put your best foot forward in every single area of your life. Success isn't just about motivation, it's about consistency. It's about making yourself better 1% every single day, because the truth of it is, you're not going to love everything that you have to do, and you're not going to feel like doing everything that you need to do. If you let your life and your decision making be run by what you feel like doing, you're not going to get anything done, because most of the time you're probably not even going to feel like putting that work in, but the work is absolutely necessary. If you want to get super fit but you don't feel like going to the gym, you got to get past that feeling of not wanting to do it, and again, reestablish your why. If you want to become super fit, why? Why do you want to become super fit? You want to be healthy and you want to feel confident in your body? That is your why. That is your driving factor. Identifying your driving factor is so important because it will help combat that feeling of I don't feel like doing it. You got to train yourself to follow through on the promises that you have made for yourself, and keep that vision so close to you of what you actually truly want, because this is what is going to drive you when you don't feel like doing it. When I speak this way, I don't want to come off super forceful and like you have to do this and this and this, because I understand and I know that we go through hard things in our life, and sometimes things aren't going to be very easy to do. Our brain is so powerful that it could literally keep us in bed all day and just bed rot for days, because I know what that's like. There has been points in my life where I literally was an official labeled bed rotter because all I would do is just scroll on my phone all day. So I know what it's like to be trapped in that. And again, the whole point of my videos is to help motivate you to know that your life does not need to look like that every single day. So I want to let you know that of course I have empathy if you are in that chapter of your life right now, but that's not going to be your forever, and you have to make the conscious decision that you want to change. I'm very big on developing a relationship with the divine and God, because I ultimately believe that you could have every single section, but if you don't have the divine aspect of you checked off, you are always going to feel like something is missing. You are not going to reach your fullest potential without that aspect of you. And I don't know what you believe in. I don't know if you are a certain religion affiliation, like I don't know if you're Buddhist, Christian, Catholic. It does not matter. Establish a connection with any divine higher power that you believe in. We are all a part of a collective consciousness, and we all come from something greater no matter what you believe. So by identifying a relationship with that, you will see your life get so much better and so much easier. And if you are in a season of your life where you are super depressed, that honestly is my suggestion for the first step that you should even take, is developing a relationship with the divine, because in my life, that is what saved me. That is what saved me from not wanting to be able to continue, and what ultimately helped me to even start creating these videos. I felt very guided to start creating YouTube videos and sharing my story and sharing things that could really help people. And now I'm getting feedback from people, and people saying that what I say actually really helps them. And when I hear those things, it makes me so happy, because when I was in those parts of my life, I wish I had someone to say the things that I talk about, or say things like, it's going to be okay. It's going to get better. You can make the choice to change. It doesn't matter what has happened in your past. Things will get better. You do not have to choose this for the rest of your life. It's easy to sometimes blame God for everything that you have gone through of, if God loved me so much, why would he give me this struggle? But you're not going to get anywhere without struggling. It's not going to mean anything when you persevere through challenges and you finally make it if you do not once experience what it felt like to be at the lowest of lows. It's not going to mean anything. If you never get through something, you're never going to get to something. Never blame God for things that are bad and things that you are going through, because ultimately these things are molding you into who you were truly meant to be. Because if you never went through what you went through, you wouldn't be who you are today. If I never experienced the adversities and all the troubles and the depression and what I went through, I would not be sitting here today delivering these messages to you, plain and simple. And if you're someone who has experienced a lot more pain in your life than you perceive other people to have, it's probably just meaning that your calling is higher. You have a bigger purpose to step into. And most people who are very successful in being world changers and world thinkers and motivational people started off with very humble beginnings, started off with very rough starts. It's all for a reason, and never ever forget that. My best friend passed away last year, and of course this is something that's very hard for me, and it still is hard for me, but I know that this has happened to ultimately help deliver me to my purpose and to help other people who are going through something, because I know what it's like to be in a chapter of your life where you do not want to keep going. And that is why I make these videos, to remind you that you have to keep going. You are so loved. Literally, you have no idea how loved you are. And even if you feel like your family doesn't love you, I freaking love you, even though I have no idea who I'm talking to. Like, I have such an open and big heart now, and I'm so compassionate to others around me because I know what it's like to be in that chapter of your life. When I see people having a bad day or someone's rude to me out in public, it's not like but it's, you're having a hard day. I have no idea what you're going through, and the way you are acting is not personal at all, because I understand what it's like. When my best friend passed away, I remember I was walking around in public with just like the look on my face like I was so angry, and people probably thought, oh, she's so rude, like blah blah blah, and they had no idea what was going on with me. And that's why I'm so much more compassionate when I see people who are having bad days, because you have no idea what is going on. You have no idea what's going on in their home life. Maybe their son just died, maybe their daughter just died, maybe they just went through a divorce. You have no idea. So try your best not to be judgmental of people you do not know, because usually if someone is acting towards you a certain way, it is not personal if you do not know them personally. Every single day you are choosing which side you align with, and that's either lightness or dark. And feelings of darkness is depression, fear, anxiety, worry, hatred. And feelings of light are happiness, optimism, love, trust. Like, these are all very different opposing sides, and you get to choose which one you want to be on inevitably by the way you choose to let yourself think every single day. So are you going to let those negative thoughts tell you that you're not enough, you're not loved, you won't be successful? Or are you going to consciously make the decision to let thoughts of light and optimism and hope and happiness run your everyday thinking? Because let's be real, your mind is a battle. Seriously. And I know it can be hard to change your way of thinking, especially if you've gone through something super difficult, but you got to make the conscious decision that you want to make a change, and you have to make it a habit to change the way you think. And as I've said in this video, in my last video, we do have 12 to 16,000 thoughts a day. And of course, trying to manage every single thought that comes in, it's difficult. But once you make it a conscious habit, to change the way you think. When you do notice negative things popping up into your mind, it'll become so much easier to literally live in a happy mind state. You ultimately get to choose how you want your life to look when it comes to your thinking. And you're never ever going to find peace by letting this darkness and these negative thoughts run your life. And this could be also taken into things of darkness. I believe that drugs and alcohol are things of darkness. I don't get drunk. I don't do drugs anymore because I know what it's like to let those things run your life. And it is such a rabbit hole, and it is so demonic in a way. And if I say that and you don't understand what I'm saying, then sorry, but you low-key gotta wake up, because drugs are very demonic and very heavy. It is a very heavy energy when you are doing drugs and you are letting yourself be open to those things. Because I believe that when we are high or when we are drunk, our spirits are so much more open to negative energies. Could label this as the devil. Like, there are dark energy forces in this world, and that is why there is so much hatred and evil. And by letting yourself dabble in these little things, you are ultimately not going to be where you want to be. I'm trying to figure out a way to articulate this the best so I can get my message across in the best way possible, because I don't want to make you feel bad if you do drugs or if you drink, to each their own. But I want to let you know, based off my personal experience, you are never going to be fully happy and fully fulfilled if you are letting these things run your life. Ever. Seriously. All it's going to lead to is depression and death from either your side or a friend's side. It does not matter. It is never going to lead to good things. Don't ever let someone be like, oh, well, you're boring if you don't do these things and you're no fun. It's not that you're no fun, but you're woke. Seriously, why are you letting yourself poison your body? God has given you one body and one temple, and why are you literally feeding it with garbage and poison? We were born in a sober state of mind for a reason. And if you are someone who likes to partake in those activities all the time, I think it's really good to identify, what do you feel that you are lacking that you need to participate in these things? Is it that you don't feel confident and people aren't going to like you if you're not all happy and giddy and bouncing off the wall? Because literally, when I was doing different kinds of drugs, I was a different person. I literally, no joke, guys, I know this is a strong take, but I feel like I was possessed when I was off these different substances, because it was not me. Have you ever looked at someone who's super drunk and you're like, hello? Are you here? And their eyes, literally, they're just not there. It's really interesting, and I suggest you do further research on it, because it is something that is kind of crazy to look at, how we literally are different people when we are off substances. And it makes you wonder, why is that? Why do people talk about having negative spiritual encounters when they are off drugs? We live in a spiritual world. Seriously, whether you are open to that or not, that is the truth. We are in a spiritual warfare, and it all comes down to what you let yourself partake in. Because if you let your life be run by the darkness, it will always be run by the darkness. I know this was kind of a side tangent, but this is something that I'm super passionate about. And when I see people doing drugs and, getting super blacked out and drunk, it's wake up. Seriously, it is not fun, and ultimately it is dragging you down the deepest hole. And one day you're going to find yourself in rehab or dead and be like, dang, I wish I didn't start doing drugs, because there's nothing fun about it. That's something. Anyways, side tangent, let's get back to the video, because I could seriously ramble about that all day long, and I know that's not very relevant to what I've been talking about in the video. But anyways, so I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier in the video, but I want to retouch this topic of identify your why. Because if you let your life be run by how you are feeling in the moment, you are never going to get done the things that you need to get done, because you are basing your actions off of a feeling. Stick to the plan and identify your why. What is the purpose that you want to leave on this earth? How do you want to help your family and others? Do you want to create organizations to help a bunch of people? Do you want to lift up the world as a whole? Never think so small to that you cannot make a difference, because you absolutely can make a difference. Make the decision that you want to make a difference in this world, because the world needs a lot more individuals who can be open and talk about things and really spread messages of light. It's super easy for you to go on the internet and post thirst traps and blow up, but it's another thing when you actually put your best foot forward and you speak your truth and you are authentic to yourself, because you inspire other people to be authentic to themselves. Because we are all spiritual creatures, and we all have a mission and a purpose to fulfill on this earth. But it's about you waking up to it and taking the certain action steps to help you fulfill that purpose. And who are you? Seriously, who are you? You're not your name. You're not your physical experience. Who are you as the highest form of you possible, your spiritual DNA? It doesn't matter what you portray on social media or what you want your friends to think about you or your family. You know who you are. You know who you want to be. Sorry. You know who you want to be at the end of the day. So get past people's limiting beliefs and get past your own limiting beliefs to be who it is that you truly want to be. Because at the end of the day, I've said this literally, I think in 3 videos now, it does not matter other people's perception of you because it is your life and you know the things that you want to obtain within this life. So stick to that. Let your why be your anchor and your driving factor for literally everything that you do in your life. Any single little action. Oh, I'm going to make my bed because you know what? I'm going to be a successful entrepreneur and I'm going to do anything I want and I know that I have to make my bed. I literally do that in my own life. Even the most little basic, stupid little tasks that you think don't matter, I'm like, no, you know what? I have my why and I have my end goal right here in my mind. So this is why I'm going to do this little activity, even though I don't feel like doing it. Sorry guys, I get a little carried away sometimes just because I'm so passionate about talking about this stuff. Like this is literally what fires me and fuels me up. And I feel like if you're watching a video of someone who's just like, yeah, so basically you just got to do this and that and this and that, you're not gonna, your attention span's gonna go away in like absolutely 2 seconds, because with social media and TikTok, our attention span has had a significant decrease. But anyways, asides the point. At any moment, you can make the choice to create a lasting impact and change in your life. Take the small little steps. Let yourself feel the grief or the pain that you may be experiencing, but never let that hold you back from completing what it is that you need to do on this earth. The more you train your brain to work for you in this life, the more it absolutely will. Our brain, our subconscious mind, literally controls our every single day behaviors. At any moment, in any given time, you can make the conscious decision to change. Are you going to keep giving yourself excuses, or are you going to start changing your story? Are you going to continue living in the past, or are you going to pick up that pen and start writing the future and the story that you want to be true for yourself? You do not need to live in the past. You are not your past experiences. You can make the conscious decision to change your life and create your own reality. I'm so freaking grateful for you guys. I know that my channel is not super big yet, but I know it's going to continue to grow, and I hope that I continue to help people, because ultimately that is what I want to do. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Never forget that you create your own reality, and mwah, bye. I will see you next Friday.